I try to ask some of the people that I knew just to sign my yearbook just for memories. Mr. Warren, he was the principal. They were a cute couple. That was the entrance of the school. We didn't only have regular security guards in the school. We also have real police officers. The school was one of the first schools that they had to put metal detectors because of so much stuff going on in there, violence and stuff. This right here, he went by Banana. He was in the bodybuilding team. He actually won Mr. Bronx. He was really, really strong. She was a sweetheart. She was the class president. With administration. Some of the deans. Mr. May, he was a cool teacher. She was also a very nice teacher, Miss Vergara. He was a cool teacher also. This guy right here, he was really good at beatboxing. This is, in the 80s, so, and in the Bronx. And this guy could really, really beatbox. He was really impressive. As funny as it might sound, like one of my favorite classes that I took, but physical education. This were three of my teachers, Mr. Cunningham. This one was his name, Mr. Harvulot, and Mr. Jacobs. They were pretty cool. This guy right here was a big guy. This one too right here. When I say big, I don't mean just, I don't mean overweight. I mean like big, tall, and strong. This right here. He was a really cool teacher. And this is the guy that won Mr. Bronx. In the cafeteria, in the morning, I was part of I got to make it to the team, to the bodybuilding team, and he was one of my teammates. And in the morning, we used to go in before class started. And the cafeteria ladies knew that we went there and we were exercising. So they were extra nice to us and they gave us extra food. This lady right here was a sweetheart, and her also. They were so nice to us. And it was nothing big. It would be like, scrambled eggs, toast, and fruit or something. But they will give us a bigger portion. And I will always eat it all up. Even inside the schools, everything was tagged. See the locker room, the locker right over there? Hopefully you can tell. New York back in the day was not like the way it is nowadays. Now everything is clean and everything. Back in the day, there was tags all over. There was dirt and garbage. I remember in front of the building that I lived in, I could see crack files, little really small containers, crack being sold. There was prostitutes offering themselves, needles from people using drugs. It was a very, very, very different times than the way it is now. She was extremely smart. Shakti. I believe she was Indian. I remember these jackets. Back then, they were called aviator jackets. The inside was like wool, real wool. So they were very nice and warm. And some of the guys that could afford them, because back then they were really expensive, they would sometimes get a matching hat. And it was this material wool. And the outside was like, it almost looked like, if I can find a picture, I'll put a picture of it so you guys can have an idea. But they were really cool, but only the people that had money could afford that. It was like a status symbol. Most of us could not afford them. She was a nice girl, Indian also. I'm not sure if you can tell, but most of the students were minorities. It was either black, Spanish, Indians, there was Jamaicans, there was people from West Indies. But anyway, most of us were minorities. This girl right here, Kimberly, I used to think she was really, really, really pretty. I wish I would have told her. I never did. As far as I don't remember that I did. But I wish I would have told her. And I don't mean to flirt with her or anything like that. Just to let her know, listen, I think you're really pretty. The hairstyles, so different. She was a sweet girl also, Lorna. This guy's supposed to be in the toilet. Here's the class president. She was very sweet. I think it's funny how we all age differently. Some of us look really, really young. Well, there's other ones that look like they were like, like 30 years old, like this guy right here. This guy was a cool guy too. Marcus, right here, he was a little bit on the shorter side, but man, this guy was strong. He could push some weights. He used to be in the team also. About this guy, I lent my yearbook for someone to sign it, and a girl that didn't like him scratched his face. I'm like, what's up with that? She was like, oh, I thought it was somebody else's yearbook. Even girls wore mullets. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but anyway. Crazy to think that now they're back in style again. He was a cool guy. In the school, there was quite a few girls that had babies. They had like a maternity ward, so the girls could go take class, and they would be, someone to be able to take care of their kids. She was a sweetheart too, Norma. This guy right here was from Puerto Rico. Nice guy. He ended up marrying the girl that was his high school sweetheart. And last time I knew, they had like 2 kids. This was many years ago, so I have no idea what ended up happening to them or anything. But back then, they had 2 kids. This guy right here wrote to me, "Stay in school, don't be a fool." This guy also told me, "Stay in school, don't be a fool." There's the gym right here. He had a very, very tall ceiling. And I remember there was a rope and that we would climb. But it was very tall. I forgot how tall it was. Anyway, it seemed like it was over 2 stories high. A lot of guys were into basketball. I never played much basketball at all. There was a small group of us that used to practice backflips and front flips and walking up a wall and then doing a backflip like that. That was pretty cool. There was a guy, he was a little bit on the shorter side, but man, all he did was calisthenics. He had extremely, extremely good shape. Man, that guy could backflip and everything like way better than all of us. There was a few club, volleyball, bowling, drama. I couldn't do any of them, because I usually worked after school. I think about these 2 girls have kids in school. Let's see if I can. And I think it's crazy that those 2 kids are almost 40 years old today. Time flies. What goes around comes around. The classrooms have this wire mesh, thick wire mesh on them. To me, it felt almost like a prison. I guess so that students wouldn't try to get out from the windows or something. The school was no joke. It was serious. I remember that people used to say it was known as Taft High School. It was one of the worst ones, if not the worst high school in the Bronx. And people used to say as a joke that Taft stood for training animals for tomorrow. So anyone that asked me, and I told them that I went to Taft, they were like, "Oh, training animals for tomorrow." So anyway, I personally did okay. Didn't get in trouble or anything like that. I was a decent student. I just, went to work, went to school, did my work and stuff. And usually after that, I went to work. And early in the morning before class, I will, go and train with the bodybuilding team. I was really, really into exercising and training, to the point that I got to the point that my hands had so many calluses on them. Over here, not anymore, but anyway, I had to shave them with a razor blade from the calluses. So my hands were really, really rough. I remember my grandmother used to say that I had man hands, like good working man hands. Something that happened to me that I'll never forget was one day I was walking home from school, and it was a nice day, so I just decided to walk. And I heard gunshots close by, but which was nothing out of the ordinary, living in the Bronx. So, just kept on walking. All of a sudden, I see a group of guys with guns running right in front of me. They were coming from a block away. Those were the gunshots that I heard. And one of the guys sees me, and he's carrying an Uzi, which is a small machine gun that was used back then, and points it at my face, right in front of my temple, right on my forehead. And he tells me, "You want some of this?" And I said, "Nah, man, I'm cool. And I put my hands up. And the guy kept on running, thank God, with the other guys. And I was like, man, that was a close one. The guys looked like they had a car waiting for them on the other side. And later on, I found out that it was a group of Dominicans that went to shoot out what they thought were Puerto Ricans. The group of people, the group of people that they shot up were actually Dominicans, but they were light-skinned Dominicans. But they thought they were Puerto Ricans. And I knew two of the guys. One of the guys that got shot, he was clean as a whistle, just going to school, didn't mess with anybody. He actually wanted to become a doctor. And he got shot point blank on his stomach. So they had to open him up from the bottom of his chest all the way to the pelvic area to be able to reconstruct his organs. I remember feeling really, really bad for him. But thank God he made it and he was okay. But that's one day that I realized that I was like, wow, God was definitely looking out for me. Because people usually thought that I was Puerto Rican because I was a little bit lighter skin, and they just assumed that I was Puerto Rican. And I could have gotten shot the same way that my friend did. So I'll never forget that story. Having a machine gun pointed at your forehead is something that stays in your mind. Another thing that I'll never forget is that anytime that I rode the subway, I never rode at the edge of the seat. Because there was guys that were sometimes just for no reason at all, as they were getting out of the car, the train car, the subway, they would take a box cutter razor blade, which are extremely sharp, and they will slice the person's neck. And I actually knew a guy that happened to. He had a huge scar on his neck. It is like, he told me he was just sitting there, riding the subway. And for no reason at all, they slit the side of his neck. Thank God he made it. But anyway, guys, that's some of the stuff that I remember. Like I said, New York was not, the Bronx was no joke back in the day. And some of those little stuff, even though it has been so many years, I will never forget. That was my personal story. Those are my personal, the way I saw it, the way I lived it. Someone might have lived, at the same time and they saw something different. But that was the way I lived it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. I'll appreciate it. Take care, guys. Have a good one.